Hey, ladies, how goes it tonight?
Hi,
Hello.
ladies. How's
So,
everybody's week going?
Crazy.
It sure hasn't stopped.
Right, yeah, no, it's been mine has been busy for some weeks now. Y'all know how basketball season is for me. So I apologize about not being here last week. Had the opportunity to cover the Texas Tech ladies in their first round of the NIT game. So I went ahead and jumped on that because I got to be there in person. It was really awesome.
Well,
yay.
that is super exciting. I see they're even
It
moving
definitely was.
on. Isn't that right?
Yeah, they're going to the Super 16, so they'll be playing Arkansas in Arkansas on Thursday night.
So I mean, I read against Arkansas. So I mean, you got
Might as well
me
go
as a
for
fan,
Texas Tech then.
right?
Okay.
There's a few states I root against. It just Arkansas happens to be one of them. Poor things.
Okay. I like it.
Well, Candy, how's your week been, honey?
Busy, crazy, but hey, I'm here enjoying it,
I feel you on that, girl. I started laughing. There were protesters outside of my office today, but they were protesting the wrong bank. I was like, I didn't say anything, but I wanted to be like, that you're in front of the wrong bank. The one you
That's
want is
really
down that
funny.
way a couple of blocks.
That's really funny.
So I am super stoked tonight. Miss Candy is going to talk to us a little bit about her women's basketball from Wisconsin. Woohoo! They've been moving along themselves. And then we also have two guests this evening. The man who tried really hard to teach me math growing up and tried really hard to wake me up in the mornings. And I'm not a morning person, so now y'all can feel sorry for my husband. But my father, Mr. Walt Matthews. And then we also have my buddy that I met during Media Week at the Super Bowl this past year in Phoenix, my friend Charlie Young. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them on, but Candy is going to take it away. And everybody, this is Charlie Young, and this is my father, Walt.
Hello,
Hey, guys.
everybody.
Oh,
Hello.
So glad to have you on, both of you.
We are so glad to
Absolutely.
be here.
And we're going to let Candy go ahead and start us off with a little Wisconsin basketball. And then we're going to get into it.
actually, Jen, it's not Wisconsin basketball. It's women's hockey.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Right.
I
So-
apologize.
No, that's okay. So the Wisconsin women won Sunday the national championship game. So they won the whole Frozen Four. They beat Ohio State, who was ranked number 1-0. So it was a high scoring thriller of a game. But the other accomplishment they did is it is now their 7th national title, which means they hold the most national titles in all of NC2A women's ice hockey. It was previously held by them in Minnesota. They each had 6 national championships. So now they hold the sole owner of the top of all the national championships in women's hockey. Way to
Well,
go.
that's awesome.
That's
Congratulations
awesome.
to them. Yeah.
That's cool. It's what an accomplishment. We talk about different women's sports, and probably women's hockey is one of the least talked about, I think, sports.
Right. Yeah. That's right up at there the level with like UNC soccer, women's soccer, because like they're just known for being those type of champions like that. So congratulations to Wisconsin. That's awesome.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for letting me share it.
Of
Go
course.
ladies.
And so I don't know if y'all heard my enthusiasm, but Charlie and I met at Super Bowl week. And I had called my dad. I was like, Dad, I'm looking for some more information on Charlie. So you ladies know this. Y'all have heard me say this. Candy, I've even said it to Scott before. My father is a sports walking encyclopedia. And so is my father-in-law, actually. But my dad, if there's a football player, you best believe he knows. And when I told him I was interviewing Charlie Young, I go, Dad, I'm interviewing Charlie Young. And he goes, You're interviewing the Charlie Young? He was like, That's awesome. He was like, Did you know he played high school basketball too? I was like, No. And so Charlie actually played high school basketball. If I remember correctly, correct me anytime. He led his team to the state championships. He then went on to decide to play pro football, go to college, USC, right?
Right.
And then you were drafted by the Philadelphia Eagles.
Number
Carrie's
one.
fans team. And then you went to the 49ers, the Rams, and the Seahawks.
No, let me give you the chronology.
Okay.
Okay.
In high school, I was a 5-sport individual. I played baseball, football, basketball, track, and I played tennis.
Oh, wow.
And
That's awesome.
What do you do in your spare time?
Yeah.
I didn't have any spare time. It was
Right,
it was
absolutely
a
so.
it was a form of keeping you busy, so to speak. And see, I had some great parents, and it's always good to have great parents. I don't know if you ladies and gentlemen had great parents, but I had the best parents in the
Oh,
entire
yes.
world. And no disrespect to anyone else, but that's how I looked at it.
And Shirley,
Absolutely.
my
And so
friend
you-
Jordan
so-
in high school.
So
Well,
you
that's the way
guys
look at
can
it, Charlie.
just jump in, huh?
That's the way you
Is that
should
a
look
cool way
at
to
it.
look at it?
Yeah, that's the way I did.
That's the
had
way I
great
do look
parents
at it.
too. Yeah, you played.
Yeah,
You played one
and
more
you
sport
became a
than I did.
great parent. Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
you were a lot better at them too.
I'm not
well,
gonna
I
have
wasn't
really
better when I started.
What made
When
you
I
decide to
started,
go to go towards football? Like, what made you hone your vision in on football since you were so active in all these other sports as well?
Megan, that's a good question. You know, I had to make a debate on that. I could have been I was being looked at by the San Francisco Giants and the San Diego Padres for baseball, and I was playing basketball, and I was a champion, but it wasn't the state champion. We had regionals, and
Oh.
the Central Valley, I was the player of the year as far as basketball was concerned. And what made me go out for track was to hone my speed for football. And the reason I played tennis, because there were some nice looking girls playing, and I just went out there for that. And
Okay, I understand.
well, I'm transparency. And so,
Right,
but
I get it.
So your question was, this is what your question was, what made me choose football over all of those? Because
Right.
I wanted to be great. You know, I wanted to be great. I could have been an average basketball player, maybe a journeyman baseball player, and all of that. But I said to myself, I can be a great football player. And that's the reason I chose that. And Jen was right. After that, I went to the University of Southern California because iron sharpens iron. And at that time, SC was the premier school. And so in order to gauge myself, I had to play against the best. And while I was there, we set all types of history. And so maybe we'll talk about that a little later, but that's the reason I chose football, Megan.
Okay, awesome. Thank
Now,
you.
I don't want you guys to be hesitant. You can ask any question, and I would be more than happy to answer those questions. If I can't answer the question, I'll defer. Okay.
Okay. That is fair.
I'm waiting, Candy. Candy,
yeah.
I'm waiting. Is that?
Okay, well, here's one. You talk about how you were in all 5 different.
Now, let me
sports.
ask you a question.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
but my question was: is
So what do you say
nowadays
that again?
you talked about how you were in 5 different sports. Now it seems more students or kids or high school age are more
Specialized.
focused in on specialized. How do you feel about that?
That's a good question.
Well, that's up to them. I played at a different era, and yeah, at that time was a very small school, and I think we had 800 students there, and so we had limited resources. And so you had to make the best of the resources which you had. And so I was very blessed to have outstanding coaches and mentors and who assist me along the way. And see, I was a high school All-American in basketball and football. And when I first went out for basketball, I couldn't play. Didn't know how to dribble, didn't know how to shoot, didn't know how to do any of that stuff. Matter of fact, and the coach came to me and said, he says, Charles, if you come back, I will work with you. And I told him, okay, I'll do that. And came back and at the time we had first team, second team, and third team. I was on the fifth team at that time. And I had an opportunity to practice, get better, and practice and get better. And at the end of the year, I was playing with varsity. And so one of the things that you can do just about anything you set your mind to do. And just like those women over in Wisconsin and how they ice hockey, how they got not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7 national champions. We're not talking about conference championship. We're not talking about regional championship. We're talking about national championship. In other words, they're saying we beat all comers. And so it is a great honor. I mean, it's a great honor. And so coming from one national championship to another, I know the time and effort that went into it in order to attain that. And see, most people don't know what it takes to win a national championship. Most people don't know those who win the national championship are the people who don't really get the credit. They are the ones that help win that national championship because either they make a shot, either they make a stop, or either they do a check. I think that's what you call it, a check, and to stop someone else. But they get the credit because they have certain people they want to highlight and sponsor and all that type of stuff. And so those people, those secondary people, those people who are maybe not starting, and those people who set aside their personal differences for a team effort, and those people are the ones who help win a championship.
Very cool.
Now, Megan, I know you got a question, Megan. What's your question?
Well, what do you think about how the game is played now? Like some of the, it's much different than it was during the 70s, and a lot of different safety.
Okay, what are you talking about? Are you talking about hockey? You're talking about football? Or are you talking about football?
Football. Yeah.
See, first of all, I am. May I say this? Hey, Jen, your husband's sitting in the back.
No, this is my father-in-law.
He's right behind you.
This is my father-in-law. This is
your father-in-law?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Tell him I said hello.
I can
Now,
hear you.
back to Megan's question. Carrie, I will be coming to you next, so I want you to think of a question. Okay.
I have one. I was waiting. I'm patiently waiting.
Okay. Oh, that's what I like about you. You're very patient. Now, Megan, I have to put a disclaimer here. I am not politically correct, and so you must understand that. Now, back then, when we played, men were men, and they were gladiators. You know what a gladiator is?
Oh yeah.
That's what we were. We were gladiators, and we played. It was not soft stuff. They went out. It was quite brutal, and just like the NFL now, it's a completely different game. And right now, if you touch the quarterback, that's
right.
If you're someone, that's the penalty.
Right.
Now, Jen and I, we were at the media row, and I had an opportunity to chit chat with a guy named Terry Bradshaw. And it's time I played Bradley. And I know when they pile drive, they pick Terry Bradshaw up and pile drive him. And if they did that today, that person would be out of league. So
Yeah.
and so that is the difference. They have made the game not an ego friendly, but they've made it quarterback friendly, and they doing
Right.
that because of the or the issues that, and so they have to do something. They can say, well, we made an effort to do it. That's the difference. Okay. Now let's see what Carrie has to say in her mind. You don't mind going to Carrie, do we?
No, not at all.
So I was
Carrie,
listening.
I'm waiting.
Yep, I was listening as you were talking, and you were talking about how the coach came to you and said, I'll work with you. It sounds like you are you were very coachable and willing to take instruction. Do you think that is what made you, kind of sorted you out from others, is that you would sit there and let people coach you and bring the best out of you?
Well, first of all, I am a very coachable individual. And if you, so you didn't get a chance to do research on me. And if you'd done the research on me, you'd have found that I was a quite unusual individual, very good at my craft. And I own marketing, I own advertising, I did my own branding, so to speak. That wasn't heard of then. And so a person like me, with my skills, if I didn't have those skills, they would have ran me out of the league long time ago. You see. Let's see. How can I say this? I don't know if you guys can handle this or not. I don't know.
No, we're tough chicks.
First of all, let me say this. What? Okay. See, when your father used to watch me play, I was very confident in my ability, and I let them know. You see, and I had told the press when I was drafted number 1 in the sixth. I was a 6th player taken in the first round. I was the first black player taken. Back in those days, that meant a great deal. And when I left the University of Southern California, not South Carolina, but Southern California, and when I got to Philadelphia, for me, this is only for me, and I told them it was a step down for me because the people I played with, we were national champions. We were undefeated, untested, and untied. You see, and I came with that mentality. I was used to winning, and I always told myself I never lost a game. Time ran out, and so that was controversial for them. And back in those days, first year people, they called them rookies. And I told them I wasn't a rookie. I said, this happened to be my first year. And they didn't like that. And so, but if you look at my record and statistics, my first 3 years, I led everything. I mean, I led everything. And even led the league as a receiver from the tight end position. I was a hybrid. And a hybrid, if you play golf, a hybrid is a club that you can use just about on any, you can use the hybrid to tee off. You can use it as a fairway wood. You can use it even as we'll call it a pitching wedge. And I was that type of individual and that type of player. And a lot of the people I played against, they're in the Hall of Fame, and I played very well against them. Now, and so that's the type of individual that I am. Now, I met Jen at the what do you call it, Radio Row or
Radio Row,
Media Row or something. And what I liked about Jen, she was very, we'll call it, not aggressive, but she knew what she wanted, and she wanted to do
assertive.
My father-in-law just said assert.
Is that the word?
Assertive, yeah.
My dad will say aggressive too.
and wait a minute. Let me tell you how it went. She sashayed up there, and we chit chat for a moment. She says, "Let's do an interview," and gave me the time and the day and everything. And I said, "Okay." And I was around and waiting, and she wasn't there that first time. And so I came back to her. And while I was waiting for her, there was a guy that she was working with. He did an interview. And see, but I had given my word that I was going to do an interview with her. And so I kept that word. And we did the interview. And it was excellent. It was magnificent. And it's probably the best interview done.
It was my favorite interview.
Mm-hmm. And so then she started telling me about her dad, and so I have a soft spot for dads anyway. And I said, "Well, tell him I said hello." And then she went and told him, and he knew me. And so I asked her if he could be on the show. And so, and there he is.
Very cool.
Yep.
And
And
the first time I got on the show too.
Okay, go for it, Dad.
That's good. That's the first time I got on the show, just to be with you, Charlie.
It really is. I think it's the first time he's watched it too, just so you know.
No, on the is that right?
Okay, you know.
Well, that's good because we get a chance to meet each other. We get a chance to chit chat.
Exactly.
And see,
So,
and your father-in-law is leaving now. Look at him; he's going out the door.
I told him I'd grab him in a little bit.
So my boss from the radio show that I work for, 806 Sports Radio, he commented in the comment section, and he wanted to know, did you play with West Texas great John Ayers in San Francisco?
I did play with John Ayers, and tell what's his name? Kenny.
Yes. Kenny.
What's his name?
Kenny.
Tell Kenny. So because he knows John Ayers and I know John Ayers, tell him on our team on that first Super Bowl that went to that beat Dallas and went to the Super Bowl to play against Cincinnati. John Ayers was the best lineman on that team. And see, John Ayers, he's from around this area. I don't know if it's Central Texas or what, but he's from this area, and he was an outstanding guard, and he had I had the utmost respect for him. He was a quiet individual. No, he was quiet, but he got the job done. He wasn't a politician like this. Another guard we had, his name was Randy Cross, but John was the we'll call it the glue that kept the line together. And so, and I still remember all those guys. There was a guy named Keith Farnholz, a guy named Randy Cross, a guy named, we call him Fred Quinlan, we call him Quay, and then it was John Ayers, and then it was let's see, they had a couple of guys playing left tackle, and so but all those guys, I remember them, and they were outstanding. And so you tell your boss that John Ayers was outstanding, and he represented his community very well. So let him know, okay? You can text him right now. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till night.
He said when John passed away, Joe Montana and several players came to Amarillo for his funeral. Such respect for such a class man.
He is a class man, and so that's how much people respected him. And you tell Kenny, I'm surprised that he remembered that John Ayers was such an outstanding person. Mm-hmm. I didn't know he was living in Amarillo.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
he has a question for me.
Mr. Young, how cool was it to see and play with Swan on USC?
You should be asking Lynn Swan that. You should be asking Lynn Swan how cool it was.
Okay. I
Good
like
call out. Hey, my peanut gallery has a question for you
I
too. He wanted to know if you got to play with
All right,
Herm
go ahead.
Edwards. He wanted to know if you got to play with Herm Edwards or Harold Carmichael. Did you get to play with either one of those with the Eagles?
I played with Harold Carmichael. Harold Carmichael was and still is an extraordinary person. I've seen him do unbelievable things. I mean, unbelievable things. I've seen him throw a football 90 yards. I've seen him catch a football running straight ahead and reaching back and catching it with one hand. I've seen Harold Carmichael hurdle over people, and they banned that. They banned it for him doing that. And you have to understand, this individual was 6'8". He was 6'8".
That's
And,
tall.
Hurdling over
he was
people. That's mind blowing myself.
My
Yeah,
dad
that's
was
what he
6'4",
did.
so I guess I was kind of used to it. Dad was 6'4" and wore a size 15 shoes, so he was huge.
6'4" and 15. That's normal.
Normal now, yeah.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
so
when he played football, he was kind of a big guy.
So, Charlie, I have two questions for you.
Okay,
First-
I have three answers for you.
The first question is, which quarterback did you prefer catching passes for out of all the quarterbacks you caught passes?
Well, that's an easy question. Whatever quarterback was throwing me the ball.
Right.
Touche.
Was there one you were more
See,
successful
you have to
with?
That's a challenging question because some of the quarterbacks that I had, they didn't make it to the pros, and some of them were better than those I had as a pro. And see, but no one never knows. There was a guy, his name was Nathaniel Butler. He was the quarterback I had in high school. And but he didn't have the confidence. See, in order to play that game, you have to have confidence in your ability. You have to have confidence in you. If you don't have confidence in you, you're wasting your time. You see, and just like all 4 or 5 of you guys, started this new program. You're taking a chance. And despite the odds, you're still going. And even though the opposition is against you, even though you don't know, you may have a little doubts if you can get it done, you see. And you have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, you might as well quit now. Because you have to be, this is what a guy told me. A guy told me this, and he said, and I'll tell you this, and I can't get any credit for it because anytime in school, when I was in school, they said anytime you use someone's work or stuff, you got to give them citation. And he told me, he said, Charlie, be you, because everybody else is taken. You see, and it sounds simple, but it's true. See, there's no one else like you. Mm-hmm. And when you put your heads together, there's no telling what you could do. Let me say that again, because I don't think you heard me. When you put your head together and utilize all of your gifts, there's no telling what you'll be able to do. You see. And,
we have big aspirations.
Big aspiration. What does that mean? What does that mean?
No, we're making them happen.
Yeah, we've got big goals that we're reaching for the stars for.
Yes.
Definitely.
Let me tell you this. Since you said that, is that you, Carrie? Is that you?
It is.
Mhm.
Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
You are 100%
No.
correct with Gary.
Okay. Now, my mother told me long many moons ago, she told me to reach for the stars. And if I missed, grab the moon. You see,
Ooh.
that's what she said. And I went out there and I reached for the, well, when I went to this school there, the University of Southern California, one of the reasons I went to that school is because I wanted to be the first tight end in the history of the NCAA to win the Heisman Trophy. That was my goal.
Nice.
And I did not attain that goal. But the goals I did attain, I was a consensus All-American. I was a number one draft choice. I played on a national championship team. I was the first tight end in the history of the USC to be an All-American, and all of that, you see, just because of the goals and visions. You see, you have to have a vision. You have to see yourself there. If you don't see yourself there, you'll never get there. You see. And,
I told my
I can say
dad
that
and-
because you
Sorry.
tell your dad what?
I said I told
Go
my
ahead, tell
dad,
your
my parents, and these ladies, and my friend JB that I was going to be at Super Bowl Media Week this year, and I made it happen. I told them a year, like not even a year before the Super Bowl. So you've got to make those dreams come true.
Yeah.
And Carrie, I got to give Carrie credit. Carrie's the one who really made me start this podcast. Because she started telling everybody we were doing it. Then we're like, we need Megan. And then we're like, we want Candy. So
See that's what it takes. You see.
Yes.
That's what I like about you, Jan, is that in that whole arena, you were making things happen. And with me, it was your attitude that no, I didn't do anything. I'm just an observer. I was just watching.
Thank you for
And
observing.
you carried yourself. And every time and you had that white dress on, you see, and you moved around and you made sure that you got what you needed done. You see. Now, and most of those things, those are, we'll call it a male-dominated arena. Am I wrong about that, or
No.
No,
You're
you're absolutely
There's
right.
a lot of
We are-
testosterone in that joint.
And but Jen, you didn't let that stop you.
Right.
So you didn't let
care.
that stop you at all.
I mean, I know
you
there's
did
some
care.
things that boys can do that are better than girls, but you know what? I can talk better than most boys.
But that wasn't the issue. We're not talking about
Exactly.
boys and girls. What we're talking about is your attitude. You know, and you went that what makes you endearing, because you went out and got it done. You see, it wasn't this I'm trying. No, it was this over here, right there is a little symbol right there. And what does that look like? What does it look like to you guys? What does it look like?
Let's do it.
Jordan, the go.
That's it. No, it's just do it.
Right.
And see, I have I'm starting me a podcast, and the podcast is called
Oh, cool.
Despite the Odds. It's called Despite the Odds, not against the odds. It's despite them. And see, this podcast is for everyone. It's for everyone, because despite the odds, because every one of you have gone through some challenges in life. And the challenge, see, most people don't realize that the challenges in life are there to bring out the greatness in you.
Mhm.
See, people don't look like they say, oh, I'm going through this. It's making it so difficult on me. You can't even brush your teeth without putting pressure on the toothpaste.
True.
Pressure brings out the best in you. Because if you didn't have any pressure, that unique skill that you have, the creative genius that you have would never come. Would never. You see.
Correct.
Now,
I
that was
love
the
that.
first time I had ever been to. That's the first time I had ever been to a media thing. And it's the first time. And
Was it really? Because
I
you were walking
have
around.
the
Charlie, you were
credentials
walking
right
around like
here.
you owned it. I have mine right beside me.
Well, my
Well, I have
parents
a
told me.
Mississippi with it.
Mhm. My parents told me, anytime you go someplace, act like you belong.
Mhm.
And I'm telling you ladies that because as you journey, you really don't know the positions that you're in, you see. And you look at it from a standpoint of getting being able to do the same thing that men do, you see. And you don't even realize that you have influential power, and you've been having it for hundreds of years. I mean, hundreds of years. You see. And
So, Charlie,
hmm?
I want to have my dad. My dad had a question that I kind of wanted to ask earlier too. So I'm gonna. Do you mind if I let my dad ask a question real quick?
No, I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for him. I'm waiting for him.
He was being
to
polite.
ask me the question.
Go
And
for
see,
it. Well,
Well, I forgot what the question was now, but we can talk. When
Jenny,
and
helping.
if it wasn't for our parents, neither one of us would have amounted to a row of beans, would we?
Well, first of all, let me address that question. And you don't mind if I use some biology, do you?
not
No.
at all.
Let's see. Okay. When my parents, if it had not been for my parents, I wouldn't be here. And when they got together, there was an explosion. We call it an explosion. And in this explosion, there was 1 million sperm cells, and they were rushing to meet this one egg. And they were striving to get there. They went through hill and dale, up and down, through valleys and all types of stuff. And the race doesn't go to the fastest. It doesn't go to the quickest or the strongest. It went to the person that endured to the end. And we'll say, I'm going to put all of you into the equation now. When that sperm reached that egg, you were the one that drilled through and made it and replicated. And because of your determination, your persistence, and you didn't let anything stop you. And it was despite these odds that you made it through. And you stayed there until it got uncomfortable. When it got uncomfortable, you were thrust into the world. And no longer were you 1 in 1 million, you became 1 in 6 billion. You see, and you were so important. And I'm gonna use a nice round number. It took over 100 people just to make you. And
That's
you
true.
were so important that if any one of those persons had died, you wouldn't be here. That's how important you are. Yeah.
I like that.
You see.
I like that too.
See, I couldn't tell everybody this, because it was a football player's not supposed to think. You see.
Yes, you are.
See, I am well, That's not what they. When I went to school,
But you're more than a football
they said
player
they
too,
were.
Charlie. Like
Of
you're
course
such an
I am, but
inspiration in your community, and you've
That
done.
was the
not only in my
question.
community.
That was
the
it.
question.
Yep.
What is it
Well,
you're
say it
doing now?
again so I
Continue
can
to
hear.
what are you doing? That was that was
What,
Jen's dad's question. Is what are you doing now in your community? Because he knew you
what
were
am I
very
doing
active in
now?
your community.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, in my community, I am a purveyor of hope. You see, you didn't even recognize it. See, right now, even now, on this show right now, I'm encouraging every one of you.
Yes, you are.
See,
Absolutely.
Candy knew. hmm
Like
See, Candy knew, and see, and I saw Candy, and I knew she was. I don't know if I should say enthralled, but she was. She knew what I was doing, hmm
Mhm.
and she was listening very attentively. You know, see, if I
Maybe I
was
was
a
more
professor,
receptive. Maybe I was more
huh?
receptive because it's something I needed to hear.
I know it.
Hmm.
See, you can't see this. You see, there's an old saying. When you have you guys ever gone to a zoo?
Hmm.
yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you the story that a wise man told me. He says, Charlie, when you go to the zoo, and while you are looking at that monkey is looking at you.
Mm-hmm.
And what that means is he's reading you. And if he wants something from him, and he studies you, and as he studies you, he see if he make a movement over here, you'll throw him a peanut. If he makes a move over here, you'll throw him a banana. You see. And so
Yeah.
he becomes conditioned. You see. And see, as I sit here and as I chit chat with you, I see every one of your faces. I mean, everyone. And as you can see in my study, you see a whole bunch of books back there, in the
Mm-hmm.
back there, and you and it's there for a reason, and because I read, and I've always been a reader, and see, I read people, you see, and some people say I'm good, and I think I'm good, and see, you see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I always use the positive. There's no negative in there. And I read this place, I read in this book, it says, so as a man thinketh, so is he. When I say man, one man is included in that. And so as you think, that's what you become.
So Charlie, this question actually came from my mom,
Okay.
but
Where's your mom?
She's in
Mom.
the kitchen.
Well,
She's doing her
Well,
thing.
bring her in. Go get her.
Hey, Linda, Charlie wants to speak to you.
You guys don't mind if I speak to Linda. Okay.
no, it's cool.
Of course
I
not.
like
Okay.
my mom. She's cool.
She's cool.
She's cool.
Linda, where are you?
She's coming.
Okay.
She was
And
helping
see,
me do the
and
homework for this.
Okay, Linda.
How are
Someone
you,
said that you had a
Charlie?
question. I'm doing fine, and you?
I'm good, thanks. Thank you for
Well,
doing this with her.
well, it is my pleasure. You have a wonderful daughter. You have a wonderful husband, and I heard the good news that you guys have been married for 53 years, but you knew each other for 55 years. And so that tells me, no disrespect, that tells me that you must be a good woman.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far or not.
Charlie,
Charlie,
I'll
I'll
go
tell you
that far.
stories
Never
after
better than
we
anybody else.
end this podcast. She's a very good woman.
I
But
know
Mom,
she is.
we were talking about Charlie's reading, so why don't you ask him your question?
Oh, okay. What's your favorite book?
Of the Bible.
The Bible. Okay. Have
Mhm.
have you read it through and through?
Not necessarily through and through. I read the points that are necessary. It tells me how to get wisdom. It tells me how to deal with issues. It tells me what I need for long life and length of days. You see, and you don't get to be a mature person. You are still old, but you see, well, they don't want to read that, and so they miss out on that. And because they miss out, I get more. You see, and I share that. That's why I am a purveyor of hope. You see,
I like
and
that.
I read other books. Uh, what you like that?
I do.
The
I think
last
that's
book I'm reading. This book is called. This is the book's called Tuesday with Maury. You see,
Okay.
and it's an outstanding book. Uh,
I have
One of
read
my
that book. I loved
professors
it.
gave me that book to read.
Oh,
You
really?
did? Oh man,
Mhm.
great book.
Okay.
Hmm.
And then Charlie and I sent a copy of it to Carrie to
That's
get
why.
help.
That's
and
why
stuff.
you needed to come. That's why you needed to come
Okay,
in.
cool.
Charlie,
Um,
we have a lot of more questions. Would you be willing to come on our show again, like in the next couple of
Went in and
months?
out. Say it again.
Sorry. We have so many more questions for you. Would you be willing to come on our show again the next couple of months
And
or next couple?
and it's froze on me.
Did I freeze on you?
Okay.
Yeah, it's cutting in and out a little bit.
Okay, sorry.
I
Hold on. Let
I
me
would love
unplug
to
my
see for you
monitor.
for you, Jenny. See for you, Jen. And I did all of this for you
I know you did,
because
and I appreciate it.
of the wonderful experience I had at the Super Bowl. You see,
Yeah.
you saw me as an individual. Here, I was walking with the staff, and I had this hat on, and I was unique.
Yes.
And people were saying, "Who is that guy?" You know, that's what
I
they were
loved it.
saying.
Like
And
your
then
staff was
they would
taller
have me
than
come on their
you.
show, and then they, and so
I have
I
one
just
final
enjoy.
question for you, if that's okay.
Okay.
And then we're
Okay.
gonna tie it up, and you and I will obviously chat some more. But and
Okay.
anybody who wants can stand backstage after we close the show out. But you were part of the catch, and you made mention of
Yes.
that if you already that against Dallas. So
Mhm.
Will Vogel and I, one of our friends of the show, and one of my personal friends, kind of had the same idea. Was that your favorite play in your career, or was that another? Did you have another play that you enjoyed more?
Well, there was a lot of plays I enjoyed. You know, see, what most people don't realize, that catch only put us ahead. That catch did not win the game. You
Right.
see, they were so enthralled with the catch, they forgot who we were playing. We were
Mhm.
playing the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys wouldn't, in that day, they did not lay down. And
Right.
so they had these guys named just quarterback named White, Danny White. They had this running back named Tony Dorsett. They had Drew Pearson. They had Billy Joe Dupree, and they had a plethora of other outstanding individuals. And
Mhm.
most important, they had a guy named Raphael Sepion. And I knew Raphael because we played together with the Rams. And
Okay.
he was the first and only player that had his own kicking coach. And he was the best kicker in the league that year. And all that they needed was, I would say, 7 more yards. If they got 7 more yards, they would have been in range for him. And he was the best that year. And so,
Yeah.
but most people did not understand The Dallas Cowboys, we kicked off to them. They got the ball he stopped them. And then Danny White hit Drew Pearson on a post move, and he was almost down the road, so to speak. And Eric Wright just grabbed him by the back. Today it's called a horse collar, and it's illegal now, but it wasn't illegal then, and brought him down. And they were 7 yards away from field goal range. And so they sashayed up to the line. And at that time, the Dallas Cowboys, you just thinking about it, sent chills up my body. And so, well, what's wrong? And so they come to the line. And there was this guy on our team named Lawrence Pillars. He took the Dallas Cowboys, I think it was their right guard, and he pancaked him. He bull rushed him, and he just lifted him back, and he drove him into Randy White, and Randy White fumbled the ball, and the ball hit the ground, and a guy named Jim Stuckey, he fell on the ball, and the game was over. And the game was over. That's the history of that game. You have to understand, we had 6 turnovers and still won that game.
That's awesome.
And so what that's telling you is that regardless of the opposition, regardless and despite those odds against you, you still can attain it if you believe in yourself. You see, if you believe in yourself, and it'll be better. But let me say this before we wrap up.
Okay.
We have a group of that I played on the national championship with USC, and we have gotten together. 50 years has gone by, 50, and almost probably 53 years, and we've gotten back together, and we've lost some guys, and I lost my best friend, Sam Cunningham, passed, and a whole bunch of, it was just a plethora of guys passed. And in my wedding, I had I don't know, about 6 or 7 guys in that wedding, and 3 of them are gone now. But one guy, he was our field goal kicker. His name was Ron Ayala. And 2 weeks ago, we got the news that he was going into the hospice care. And hospice means that they're going to give you 6 months or less to live, you see. And so this group that I'm with is a Bible study group. And in this Bible study, we learned that the scripture says that the effectual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. And it also says, and I think it's Mark, the 11th chapter and the 22nd verse, when you pray, believing that what you pray for, you will get, it will be given to you. So we are going to put that to the test.
Sorry.
We're going to put that to the test and ask God to intervene. And see, but my friend, he has already made up his mind that whatever happens to him, he will be satisfied. That's Ron.
Wow.
And so he is facing that. And so we have to determine if we're going to stand with God or are we going to fold up and crumble like a Kmart deck chair. And so that's where we are.
Yeah, and Carrie,
you guys are going to stand with God.
Mm-hmm. That's what we're going to do. And so I know you got to go, and I can say this in all honesty, I would be more than happy to come on your show again.
Thank you.
You see, but there is a thing called reciprocity. I think it's reciprocity, a reciprocal thing.
Yes, I will be on your show if I'm invited.
You're always invited. see?
All right.
Mhm. And so uh, we'll do a show,
Okay.
and we'll do the show on I don't know, maybe how you decided to start the podcast, and see. We'll do the show on why you decided to leave and start your own thing. You know, why are you taking the risks? Why? See, those are good questions. So you can think about those now.
Oh well.
And so because we will talk about that, and I want you to be candid.
I don't know how not to be.
I want you to.
Mom tried really hard to make me diplomatic.
I
Sometimes things
don't
still
want you
just
to be
burn out.
politically correct. Mhm.
Yes, we'd be.
And so,
I'd be honored.
that's the type of show. That's the type of show that, despite the odds, is. It's about overcoming the challenges of life, and you can't deny it that you have had many. Every one of you have had many, and so.
Yes.
But as you cross the burning sands of affliction, you know, you are getting stronger and stronger. Okay.
We're
And I've had just a wonderful time.
so
Now,
happy.
and we're
Thank you.
winding up, and so
Yeah, and we can stay
And so-
backstage if we want.
let's
But
stay backstage.
All right.
Because Walt, I know Walt got some more questions, and
He does.
and
And I
his
know
lovely wife
Carrie
has
wanted to
questions.
say something too. I could see it in her face.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
But
I want it.
To all our viewers, if y'all have any questions, feel free to check us out. Check out our newly launched YouTube page, The Chicks Podcast. And also check out our individual Twitters and our group Twitter and our Facebook page. If you have any questions, reach out to any of us individually or put it in the Three Chicks in a Pod Facebook page. And
Well, let me ask you,
yes.
who are you guys sponsors?
Our bank accounts.
Yes. At the moment.
Currently,
Listen,
it's us.
Listen. You have enough brain power right now in this group to come up with a sponsor.
Absolutely.
And you don't have
Absolutely.
to be big right away. And you can get a sponsor. You can get affiliate sponsors. You can get links and codes and all those types of things. And every time somebody hits that code, you get a percentage of it.
Yep.
Right.
Now you guys, I don't know. You appear to be brilliant people. I
We
could
are.
be wrong.
Got you on. We got that brilliant, right?
You know we're
Right.
smart if we bring
Thank
you on.
That of course. It was a natural for me. You know. See, but we want.
And
We want
thank you, ladies, and thank you,
this to
Mr. Young,
be-
for
to
sharing.
be-
That's another Panthers fan who has his own page and stuff
Okay.
too.
see. Listen, you want this to be successful and profitable.
Exactly.
That's what you want. That's what you want to do. And if I can see some brilliant